we have Alex's M140 in, which we're going to install a 3P airlift system to. I am going to start it today and get the wiring for the management in. Lee's going to take over and do the hardware installation. So we're going to rip apart the boot area and see what room we've got, see if we can try and hide as much of it as possible, and then go underneath, see what room we've got to run the lines. So we'll unbox everything, get it all laid out, and see where we go from there. Looks like somebody's already had a little unbox session anyway. The instruction guide.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is also very important. Is this the bit you want to see? Oh, this is no, this is more instructions. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is El Management, as they say in France. Is that no? So this is the management, or the manifold. Quite simple. Obviously, a plug, and then you've got the front left, front right, rear left, rear right. Feed from the tank to the management, and an exhaust, which is what you hear every time people air out. That's the exhaust. You can put a filter on them, which doesn't create such a noise. I will one day do that to prove that it doesn't have to make a sound like a number 29 bus. Here is. I'm going to leave it in its packaging so it doesn't get scratched. You know what it's like when you get a new iPhone. You have to leave it in the packaging for a couple of days. You know, well, not the packaging, but you leave the screen protector and everything on because you love it. So I will let Alex take that off himself, because I don't know, it's kind of a thing you have to do, isn't it? You don't want somebody else ripping it off for you. It's almost like, oh look, I've got myself some airlift shoes. It's like a shoebox, isn't it? Airlift shoes. That'd be pretty cool, you know, for people with like short problems. It'd be quite cool. I might develop them. Okay, so, ooh, this one's quite cool. These are always fun. They do these in two options. Well, they do them in many options, but for the sake of this, they do it, you can get them in black and in the chrome finish. So this is as simple as it comes, positive and negative. The management decides when it comes on, preset preset pressure, yes. So when it drops below a certain PSI, it'll kick back in when it reaches a set point. I think as a rule, they're set at 150 PSI. You can adjust them up to 200, but I believe they say not to go over 175. So, what we have here, that's your USB for the hand controller. That is your positive and negative, which are permanent to your battery, and that is your switch live, which turns it on and off. Up to other end, once all of these powers obviously go back through the relay, these then go to the compressor, so through the relay, and turn the compressor on and off. A lot of people say that air's no good for fast road or track use. They have proved with the 3H system that it is actually very competitive. So if you're thinking about getting air and worried about the fact that you do some track days and whatnot, it is still very usable.
Lying wide awake, I can sleep tonight. Staring at the ceiling like a restless child. Cause you're running around telling all these lies. You're telling all these lies, boy. You said you needed space, bet you're out right now. Drinking with your friends, having a good time. But when you're feeling lonely, you come back around. You come back around. I'm done healing all your scars. You say we're done, but then next morning you regret what you said.
So we've done the power and earth, and now we just need to find ignition live so that when the ignition's turned on, it turns the management on. It has to be ignition live, because if it goes to permanent live, it'll always be on and will end up draining the batteries. I've just got a shortened wire. It's designed to obviously travel to the front of the car if needed, but I'm hoping I can find an ignition live within that labyrinth in there.
And that's pretty much most of the wiring done then?
Minus actually wiring in the compressor itself, and obviously running the wire to the controller. That's the electrical side of it done. And then we'll fit the bags, and then run lines up to the management, bolt the management down, and then go up and down.
Up your pieces, I'm done healing all your scars. You say we're done, but then next morning you regret what you said.
talk you through this quickly. That is the feed from the compressor into the tank to fill the tank full of air. Other side will be to feed to the management, which will then distribute it amongst the bags depending on your settings. And then the bottom here will be, it will go into a drain, and you can drain the tank from there and you can refill it manually. If your compressor stops working, you can use like an air pump.
You wouldn't want to be caught short with like a bicycle stick pump trying to pump your bags up, would you?
150 psi, yeah, I'll tell you what.
Here we are then, guys. I'm going to take over from John now. He's put the management system in, wired it all up. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to fit the airbags, run all the airlines, set the management up and see how low it goes. So what we've done is we've took the spring out and jacked up this near side rear wheel to make sure there's enough clearance between the wheel and the arch, so that when we go to do finally air it out, there's enough clearance. It looks like it's going to be a bit tight, but we'll see how we get on. So yeah, there we have it. Let's do it. Boom. We have fitted the rear bags, we fitted the shocks. The shocks have like a dampening adjustment on them, so I've set it halfway to start with just to see how we get on. So now I've drilled the tub to run the airlines from the management to the airbags. So we're just doing the rear ones now, see where we line up, make sure it's not touching anything. Get some. And then what I'll do next is strip the fronts off, put the rear struts on, the front struts on, run the airlines from the rear to the front, which is obviously a bit more complex, a longer route to go. And that's it. Start going up and down. So basically we need to get shorter drop lengths just so they don't knock about, and it actually allows the car to go a bit lower. So we're going to fit these now. Some nice new ones. Okay. Raising the coil over a bit so that the doesn't sit too low to start with. A little bit of raise.
We'll just final adjustments now.
That's it, mate. Little tweaks. Trying to calibrate the providings. I'm trying to calibrate the ride height. I'll calibrate the whole system and then set the preset ride height so that it's drivable and not scrubbing or rubbing or tucking. So, M140, air ride, calibrated, preset ride height set. Now to the geometry. We're going to see if we can dial in this camber a bit more, so we can tuck it. Same again on the front. Have a little look at the camber, the front toe, to see if we can get that nice and true. And then yeah, that should be it. Customer will come collect it at 5 o'clock today.
Bosh.
Bosh. Bish bash bosh. Done.
Over the dark side.